Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. A warm welcome to one and all. This channel is dedicated to helping people understand the difference between traditional, authentic non-duality and modernized, watered down nonsense. Yucky. Let's just call it, let's not call it Neo-Advaita or Neo-non-duality. Let's call it yucky non-duality, because that's what it is. It's yucky, and yucky is an understatement. It drives people crazy. It drives people to suicide. Welcome one and welcome all. Thanks for dropping by. Usually I have a topic in mind when I hop on here, but today I just felt to come on and just be myself. And no, I'm not talking in a non-dual way. I'm talking just kind of be real and let it all hang out and just share my thoughts and feelings, whatever arises. Hi, Pat. One thing that's really on my mind and heart today is how low yucky non-duality, Neo-Advaita, can take people. I made a video yesterday. I basically like a video letter to someone who is contemplating taking their life, and who's been down the Neo-Advaita rabbit hole. As I say that, I just feel like sick to my stomach. I just feel nauseous. Partially because I don't want to talk about it and think about it. Partially because I remember the hell that is Neo-Advaita. The thing that's so weird is it doesn't mess everyone up. It doesn't impact everyone the way it impacted me or impacted this person. But it took me to the brink of suicide and psychotic break. And I know other people who it has taken to the point of psychotic break or depersonalization, derealization, where you snap, your sense of reality just snaps, your sense of self snaps. Of course, Neo-Advaita would say that's somehow spiritual. But what I'm talking about is when someone's life is destroyed, someone's capacity to function. So that's really on my mind and heart right now. And it's like I want to talk about it and I don't. Like, I don't even want to think about it. Think about the hell I lived in. Because it was like a never-ending cycle of practicing self-inquiry, getting high, crashing, desperately reading the books, desperately going to satsang, getting bad advice at satsang, repeat, rinse over and over and over. I don't even know what to say. It's like, I was given a talk on something not connected to Neo-Advaita today, and I was thinking about like what are the worst things that can happen. Hey, chill. I'll get to your comment in a moment. What are like the worst things that can happen? And I was like, being trafficked, human trafficking, like being forced into sexual slavery, like childhood sexual abuse, like actual insanity where you go insane to the point where you're like out of control and like you've got to be restrained or medicated or you'll destroy yourself or destroy others. Feeling suicidal, getting to the point of feeling suicidal. I mean, all of these things are hellish. And Neo-Advaita is its own kind of hell, its own kind of trauma loop where you just like, and that's the worst thing is like this being stuck in the same fucking thing over and over and not seeing a way out. I make these videos for many reasons. At first, I was like trying to save the world from Muji. And then next, I was like angry at all Advaita teachers. And then I was like, well, I'm going to educate people. I'm going to like destroy Neo-Advaita. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to educate people on the difference so that they can recover. And I was like, okay, I'm going to share my recovery journey. And today, having read that, message from this person who has gone down the Neo-Advaita rabbit hole and is seriously contemplating taking their life, like, yes to educating people, yes to helping, and just supporting my own recovery. Making these videos helps me. But there's also this, now I have this kind of other piece of like, I want to save lives. I want to save lives, and I want to shorten the length of time that it takes someone to exit Neo-Advaita and recover from it. Because as I've shared, I realized Neo-Advaita was false in 2004, but I was not able to leave it until 2019. And then and it wasn't until I think 2021 where I just absolutely turned my back on it. So it's quite a process. And my hope is to save lives and save time, and also to support my own continued healing and growth. All right, chill and play. Do you see the journey deep into suffering as a possible springboard towards the true practice of Advaita Vedanta? Oh, and Pat, I see your comment. I'll get to it in one moment. Chill and play. That is a deep question. With a name like Chill and Play, I'm assuming you're a brother, but maybe you're a sister. I'm going to say brother, man. That is a deep question. So first of all, I see suffering as it calls people to genuine spirituality. Put aside whether it calls people to genuine Advaita Vedanta, because in my understanding, nothing in this world can satisfy fully, and seeking satisfaction in the world in a non-dharmic manner or a non-awake spiritual manner just leads to more suffering. So it's like suffering can be a wake-up call that, like, oh, okay, I need to find something higher than my limited self or higher than my own desires. And then Neo-Advaita takes it to the other extreme and like, okay, well, just get rid of me and get rid of all my desires. Well, A, that doesn't work. And B, that's completely contradictory to what the authentic, or you could say the traditional teachings teach. So absolutely, that suffering can be a springboard to seek liberation from suffering. And what I would add to that, and what I'm starting to see more and more, is that all suffering serves a purpose. Like all this hell I went through Neo-Advaita, like I'm now able to help other people. And all the hell I went through in Neo-Advaita, like I'm much more discerning. I'm much more discerning about spiritual bullshit. That's not to say like, I know what's true, but very quickly, I now like have, Spider-Man, when there was danger, it was called his spidey sense. He would call it his spidey sense would tingle when there was danger. And now, without even needing to analyze, when I start to hear spiritual bullshit or religious bullshit, my spidey sense tingles. It's more like my solar plexus starts to feel yucky. And I experienced it the other day. I was on a live on TikTok, and Pat, you're next. I'm excited to talk about what you brought up. I was on a TikTok live that's where people can talk to each other, and these guys were just like, these people were spiritual Muslims, meaning they were grounded in the tradition of Islam, but they were very like not attached to it. And so we were having this amazing spiritual discussion. And then this other guy comes on and starts spinning a little like dogmatism of like, anyone who hasn't read the Quran is missing out. And it's so good that we have the Quran. And Like it was just like, it's a completely different vibe. And it just started to feel yucky. Um, and so that very quickly, like I was like, ugh. And so that's one of the upsides of having gone down the Neo-Advaita rabbit hole and learning to discern what I call genuine spirituality from nonsense spirituality. So Pat, thank you for your compassion, and I have compassion for you. It's very, I can only imagine what it's like to be on the outside, watch that happen. And I've talked a lot on this channel for people who've been in it, but every now and then I talk to the situation of people who are on the outside and genuinely not sure what to do and struggling and suffering because of it. So what I say to such people is, so there's this 12-step program called Al-Anon, and it's for people who had or have a friend or relative who's an alcoholic. And it teaches people how to take care of themselves within the chaos, within the messy situation, and how to be supportive without being pushy or coercive. So for those who just joined, we're talking about people who have a friend or relative who's into Neo-Advaita. So, the long and short of it is none of us can change anybody, right? Like, I've been making these videos for 5 years now. Like, if I had the power to change, like to make people be different, then I would have like eliminated Neo-Advaita from the world, right? That's not how life works. And so what they talk about in Al-Anon is this learning how to take care of yourself, learning how to have boundaries, and then what are, again, this is an Al-Anon, so this is people who have an alcoholic friend or relative. What kind of support can you actually offer to someone who's in active alcoholism? And so the same principles apply. Like, what kind of support can you offer to someone who's still involved in Neo-Advaita? Well, in that situation, the first and foremost thing is you need to learn how to take care of yourself, because that person's drowning. They're drowning in insanity, whether you're talking alcoholism, Neo-Advaita, any kind of cult, or even severe mental illness. It's like that person is drowning in suffering and delusion and insanity, and they will take you down with them. So that's the first piece, is like learning how to take care of yourself and learning how to be solid in yourself. There's that metaphor. It's not a metaphor. Like on commercial air flights, like if the cabin loses pressure and the oxygen masks come down, the parents are instructed to put on their own mask first before putting a mask on somebody else. And you would think, oh my God, like put the mask on the children first. Well, the idea is you need to take care of the children, but for you to take care of the kids, you have to be strong. You have to be well. So Pat, if you want to share anything else about your situation, please do. If anyone else has any thoughts, questions, or feelings, this is kind of just like an open-ended chit chat. Pat. Okay, good. Sure, Pat. I will. So what I'm starting to do is I do connect and interact with people one-on-one. I ask for a donation for my time, and we can talk about the logistics of that. Here is my email. I would be honored to help out. And let me make sure I just typed it in correctly. thehealingcurrent@gmail.com. Thank you for asking. And there you go. So maybe just send me a short email letting me know, what you're looking for, what kind of support. And yeah, I'm not trying to like make millions of dollars off people's suffering, but I do need some energy back for my energy. But drop me an email and we can chat more about possibilities. All right. Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Pat. As I've said many times, I'm not a guru, and I have been around the block. And I'm still alive. I survived. I went very far down the Neo-Advaita rabbit hole, and I'm still alive. I was actually, I get support for myself. I was talking to my coach the other day about it, and she's like, everything you've been through, you're still alive. And just that is a victory. She's like, every day. And I've had that thought myself. Like every day I wake up, because Neo-Advaita took me to the brink of suicide. Well, actually, let me be really accurate. My mental, emotional imbalances, trying to heal those through Neo-Advaita by the Neo-Advaita gurus. I put it in quotes because I have deep respect for the word guru, and I don't consider any Neo-Advaita teacher an actual guru. Oh, very interesting. Oh, well, now you've got my curiosity, Pat. Sure, drop me an email. So yeah, seeking solutions to immense suffering through Neo-Advaita is what led me to be suicidal. And then to get the incorrect feedback from the guru, like if you just, the false guru, if you just inquire, who is it that suffers? Like really bad advice, bad spiritual advice, bad mental, emotional life advice. But of course, I was under the delusion that this person was enlightened. So in essence, I gave my authority to him. And boy, was that a learning. Boy, was that a learning. All right, beautiful souls. Chill and play. Thanks for your thought. I believe there's a lot of truth to what you said, Pat. Very curious to hear more. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for asking. And I wish everyone a beautiful. And actually, I'm going to close with something. I wore this shirt. I don't know if you can see what this is. It's an Indiana Jones movie poster with my face on it. I got it at Universal Studios. And I specifically wore it today for this live because I love this shirt. I really like the shirt. It's faded. Like you can barely see it anymore. But Neo-Advaita is nothing, is just a war on our humanity. Like actual Advaita Vedanta is the integration of our humanity into life, into society, and that our humanity, our human, our self, and I'm not talking like capital S self, our feelings, our desires, our being, our history, our story, like has a place and has value and can actually contribute to the well-being of our family and our society. And Neo-Advaita just strips that authenticity and attacks and degrades authenticity. So I'm just wearing this shirt today to just remind me that that it's okay to like things, that it's okay to want things, it's okay to enjoy material things. Authentic Advaita does not teach don't enjoy material things. It teaches a process of not being attached, and it teaches a process of a transformation of focus. You know, I've had the pleasure of associating with a couple traditional Advaita gurus, and they very much have a personality. They very much have their individuality. They're healthy, robust, and they're unique. They're not unique in the sense of special, like they're just themselves. You know, they have their own quirks, as we all do, as did Ramana. Ramana was a very quirky being, and I don't mean that as an insult. Like he was himself. I'm not talking anything mystical. He was a joker. He loved mountain climbing. He was a philosopher. He was a meditator. He had a sense of humor. He wrote devotional love poems. People described him as being as loving as a father and a mother. He was self-served. He was in service all the time. He was very witty, and he was aloof. Sometimes people would ask him questions, he just wouldn't say anything. He was very much a unique individual. He in a very healthy sense of the word. Pat, but was he real? So I have no idea what you mean by that. And so Advaita Vedanta has a very, so a lot gets lost in translation. Advaita Vedanta talks about Sat and Asat. Sat means eternal, Asat means not eternal. So Sat means changeless, Asat means that which changes. So to say real and unreal without the understanding of what Advaita Vedanta means by that, it's very dangerous. In fact, I think it's one of the major delusions of Neo-Advaita is a misunderstanding, just even using the words real and unreal in English. Very, very dangerous. And it messes a lot of people up. So was Ramana Maharshi real? I'm just going to set that question aside and say, I'm convinced he existed. I'm convinced that his unique individuality had value and was meaningful. And that's what I'll say on that. All right, beautiful souls. Have an amazing, amazing day. Thanks for dropping by.